We're back with yet another video on our favorite plants, and today we're going to be talking about Mother of Thousands. Now that's a really unique name, a really impressive name, and another one here that's also called Mother of Thousands. You can see that there are little baby plants coming up on this. So today we're going to be talking about care, the benefits, and how to propagate it or how to transplant it. It's a medicinal plant, a poisonous plant. So you've got to be very careful with where you grow this plant, because it can also grow really fast and it can spread. So it's also an invasive plant. It's going to just spread if you put it in the soil. So the best way to grow this plant is in containers. If you grow it in containers and take appropriate care, it's going to grow really well, and it's going to look really beautiful when it has little babies coming up on all the leaves. This one doesn't really have much on the leaves, much pups coming up, but as you can see, this one's got a lot of pups coming up on the leaves, and that's what makes this plant look really amazing and beautiful. This one was recently planted, so I'll not be transplanting this, but I will be transplanting this, after which I will talk about the care. So this container is ready. I've filled it with soil and sand. You need to put it in sandy soil so that the water drains out really well, and the plant does not get too much of water. There's no root rot and so on happening. Now as you can see, this plant is going to come off very easily. That's it. You can see the roots need to be dry. You can see that it's outgrown the pot, and so it's becoming really stocky, and since I don't want that to happen, I'm going to be putting it into a new container that will allow it to grow better. It'll have more space to grow, and that's what I want exactly. So once I've pulled out the entire plant, I'm going to just add soil around and be very gentle not to disturb the leaves. So I'm not going to compress the soil. I'm going to allow it to settle on its own when it's watered. That'll take care of it. If the soil is too compact, then you're going to have issues with the soil drying out properly, and that's going to lead to your plant getting damaged. So you can see the difference from the first pot and the second pot. Now it's looking even more beautiful, and what's going to happen now is the plant usually sheds its leaves. So when it sheds its leaves, some of it it needs to be removed, because that's going to hinder the growth of the plant. And once small pups come up on these leaves, they'll automatically fall into the soil or onto the soil, and the plants will automatically take root, like this one. If you can see, I transplanted it a few weeks ago, and after a few weeks of transplanting itself, there are small pups coming up on the leaves. There's another one here with beautiful small pups coming up on the leaves. Now for watering this plant, what you do is you wait until the soil completely dries out, and once the soil is completely dry, then only should you water it, and water it until water comes down through the bottom of the container or the pot that you're growing it in. Now that the plant is transplanted into a new container, I'm going to water it, because the soil was already very dry. That's how the plant came out really easily from the main pot. So while watering it, you need to water it in such a way that the water comes through the bottom of the plant. So you can see the soil has automatically settled. Water it thoroughly when you do water, maybe once in 10 to 15 days. If you water it thoroughly like this after the soil dries out, then the plant is going to be great. You can see water is coming through the bottom of the container, and that's the sign that this plant has enough water to survive for another 15 to 20 days, sometimes 10, depending on where you keep the plant. Now if you can see, there are some leaves that are green and some that are reddish or pinkish. Sometimes they even get brownish. That is because of the sun. Now when you place this plant in the sun, some of the leaves change color. If you want, you could place this indoors or you could place this outdoors, but you have to place it in a place where it will get uh, just 2 to 3 hours of sunlight, and it should be mild early morning sunlight, or it can be placed near a east facing window for best results. I hope you're impressed by the look of this plant. I find it really attractive and beautiful. This is the plant that I keep inside on my breakfast table, and this one usually sits on the window right here so that it gets enough early morning sunlight. If you do want to change the location of the plant, do it gradually. You can take the plant out for 2 hours the first time, and then the next time what you can do is take it out for another 3 to 4 hours. So if you keep doing it in that manner, gradually putting the plant outdoors for a few hours and then bringing it back indoors, or putting it indoors for a few hours and then bringing it back outdoors, that's going to help the plant adjust to the change in the temperature and the atmosphere of the inside and the outside of your house. Just be careful not to plant this in an open garden, because if you do that, it's going to invade a lot of your space, and it's also dangerous for pets, for humans. If you consume this plant, you could get really sick. So do keep it in a place that is high. If you have kids at home, put it on a high shelf, or if you have pets, animals at home, just keep it out of reach of pets and children. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care and do like and subscribe. Goodbye.